Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. Before I start, a couple things. Firstly, please don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. Helps the algorithm, and I really want to push to 100 subscribers. Another thing, we've just released our 6th installment of the Hook newsletter. Today we spoke a little bit about IVB boxing and their sort of role in the sport, what they look to achieve. We also spoke a little bit about Derek Chisora. I'll talk about that today. And I spoke a little bit about Alexander Usyk, which I'll also speak about today. So without further ado, let's get into it. Derek Chisora will face Deontay Wilder in April in London. Now, this has come as a little bit of a surprise because it was widely sort of received that Deontay Wilder will be fighting Alexander Usyk on this big IVB boxing card, and now that seems to be put into jeopardy because if Deontay Wilder doesn't get through Derek Chisora, then the incentive for Alexander Usyk to want to face Wilder will not be there, right? Like what is it? Like why would he want to face someone who's just lost to Derek Chisora in his 50th fight? So yeah, there won't be any need for him to do that. And so it is quite a risky fight in a way for Wilder because he's not guaranteed to walk over Chisora, and in fact Chisora will be if Chisora doesn't get put down, he will not stop. Chisora will need to get carried out that ring for him to stop, especially considering it's his 50th fight. It could be his last fight, and what could be quite sort of interesting and quite radical is that, you know, if Chisora looks good against Deontay Wilder, he could be in contention to fight Alexander Usyk. I mean, look, in terms of who deserves to fight Usyk, it's definitely Fabio Wardley or Ajit Cabello on meritocracy. But boxing isn't a meritocracy; it's a popularity contest. And you know, Wilder or Chisora could have a great shot at fighting Usyk, considering, you know, they might. Those are the sort of names and fights that would generate interest, clicks on social media. So, I mean, in an interesting turn of events, we could see that happening. Now, what's also interesting is that Sky Sports will get back into the mix. They, of course, had their broadcast deal with Boxer. That didn't go to plan, and as a result, they chose not to renew that contract. And since then, they've been kind of quiet. There hasn't been any sort of decision to go with the promoter. I think there was a bit of news earlier about them wanting to sign Jake Paul and Zuffa Boxing and maybe do a mix of events, but I think that's something that they're looking at doing. Like, they don't want to side with a single promoter. They want to sort of get events and, you know, put them off as like a one-time thing, which I think they did in the first Eubank v Ben installment, and then I think the second was exclusive on DAZN. So, look, it's interesting development, and another thing as well is that the Sauerlands, Kia and Kala and Nissa Sauerland, are in contention to you know, put on that. They're going to be the lead promoters on the fight. Now, the Sauerlands are quite interesting because obviously their fathers were involved in the sport, and then they moved over to Wasserman Boxing. They signed a deal with them for Wasserman to be in Channel 5, and, you know, they've sort of captured that UK audience, that free-to-air sort of broadcaster. But then Wasserman wanted to move away from I think they wanted to sell their boxing division, which means that, you know, the Sauerlands could still carry it on, but it wouldn't be under Wasserman. Someone else would come and buy that. So I guess maybe, you know, the Wassermans are now, the Sauerlands are now, you know, free agents moving about. They've just recently released their influencer pro boxing. So they've signed Vidal Riley. So maybe we see. I think Vidal Riley is mooted on that undercard for Chisora against Wilder. So that's something else that we can come to expect to see. So yeah, I mean, it's just the nature of the sport. Like it's just so topsy turvy. Who would have known that the Sauerland would put on Wilder against would put on against Chisora against Wilder in London on Sky Sports when Sky Sports haven't been in the mix for ages. So yeah, bizarre times. But that's the fight that I'm really looking forward to. I think it's going to be carnage and fireworks, and yeah, I think it'll be great viewing entertainment. What else we got to talk about? Alexander Usyk. Obviously, he was mooted to fight on with Deontay Wilder in San Francisco. That looks to no longer be happening. But he's like a promotional free agent. I mean, he's sort of chatting with different promoters. He's in a very interesting position because he's signed. He's gone away from Riyadh season. He's now sort of looking at different promoters and different promotional entities. He's siding towards having a fight in the US. US boxing is, of course, not where it once was. It is fragmented and broken, and I guess he wants to capture that US market. But it's now revealed that he's in talks with Zuffa Boxing, which is quite bizarre for a couple of reasons. Firstly, it appears to be that they're not sort of wanting to spend that money on signing proven talent. Well, that's what they came in the intention in the sport for, but then they signed Jaya Pattaya. So that's the first thing. The second thing is that it's backed by Turkey Al-Sheikh, and obviously Usyk has just left Riyadh season. So I guess it's just another way for them to work together. It's just not under Riyadh season, so you'll still be working with Turkey, but not under that entity. And also the third installment, I think, I thought Zuffa Boxing was set up to maybe not to not pay as to sort of level the playing field a little bit, and to maybe not overpay fighters. So if Usyk's main concern is to make a lot of money, well, it seems to me that Zuffa Boxing is maybe they're trying to stay away from that, trying to build a fighters. I mean, their first fight is Callum Walsh against Campo at the Apex, 500 to 1,000 people. So yeah, it's just interesting to me that he wants to even be there, but we'll see. What else do we have to talk about? Johnny Fisher is in talks to fight Jamie TKV for the British title. Fisher, of course, had that fight in Monaco. Jamie TKV is coming off that very good win against Fraser Clark. That could be a good fight. I think Dave Allen was in talks to fight Jamie TKV as well. Obviously, Fisher had that. Can you imagine Fisher wins the world title, wins the British title against Jamie TKV, and then fights Dave Allen in a trilogy? That wouldn't put it past that. But TKV is a big step up for Johnny Fisher, I think. And I think, is Johnny Fisher ready for that fight? I'm not sure. But we'll just have to wait and see. Anyway, just before I go, there was a fighter who, an MMA fighter, was making weight, and as he was making weight, he clearly had a drastic weight cut, and as he finished on the scales and was walking away to sort of put his clothes on, he just stumbled and fell to the ground and collapsed. And I think that's a really big issue in the UFC. Like making weight is not easy. I guess it's the same in boxing, but it seems to be a little bit more prevalent in the UFC. So they've got to look at that, because now that fight is cancelled. Obviously, it appears that neither fighter are going to get paid because that fight isn't happening. So, the fighter who he was meant to face against has gone through training camp, has gone through a weight cut, and is now unable to fight. And obviously, the fighter who fainted has gone through the same process as well. So, there needs to be some more stringent measures. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.